Hey everybody, welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now, I know the number of draconian measures and warnings that are in effect from states all over the country is on the rise. We also have reports of everything from drones, fines, and jail time as a penalty for those that are non-compliant with state surveillance and orders. However, we've also seen over the last 15 to 20 days or we've witnessed the socialist leftists calling for a nationalization of private industry, everything from hospitals, hotel, temporary homesteads, and even arrest for a preacher whose assembly for worship sought consequence. Now that brings me to our article today, which comes from our vetted source, the New American. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me for this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now, if you will join me in this article, this is an article that was written by Bob Adelman. Now, it's entitled, Trump Wants to Reopen the Economy. Will the States Follow? Now, the president's insistence that, quote, we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem, end quote, and that, quote, we have to open our country, end quote, has turned the conversation to the possibility that the reopening could begin in weeks, not months. Quote, I'm not looking at months. I can tell you right now, end quote, he said on Monday. He added, quote, our country wasn't built to be shut down. America will again and soon be open for business. Very soon. A lot sooner than 3 or 4 months. A lot sooner, end quote. He then suggested that the remedies implemented to contain the pandemic might have been excessive. Quote, we have a very active flu season, more active than most. It's looking like it's heading to 50,000 or more deaths. That's a lot. And you look at automobile accidents, which are far greater than any numbers we're talking about from the pandemic. That doesn't mean we're going to tell everybody no more driving of cars. So we have to do things to get our country open, end quote. The economic cost estimated by Goldman Sachs last Friday at a 24% decline in the nation's economic output in the second quarter has been dwarfed by that from the banking firm Morgan Stanley. On Monday, the international banking and investment firm expects the economy to shrink by an annualized rate of 30% in the second quarter and the unemployment rate to jump to nearly 13%. The keys to keeping the patient alive are timeless. Sufficiency of the external financial support being offered by Washington and the cooperation of the states. As the New American suggested on Monday, the economy is like a patient on life support. Small businesses that make up more than half of it can only survive without oxygen, cash flow generated by customers, for a short period of time. For a human, it's 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen before he expires. For a small business, it's more like a month or perhaps 2 before becoming insolvent. The sufficiency of the financial support being offered, already in place and being debated in the Senate at the moment, is estimated to top $6 trillion. Not having traveled down this road before, it's pure speculation about whether that's enough to keep the patient alive until the customers return. If Morgan Stanley is right, that the pandemic outbreak peaks in late April, quote, a sharp rebound would begin in the June-August quarter, leading to solid growth in 2021, end quote. What would the rebound look like, and what would be the long-term effects of the pandemic scare? Well, first, the president would be pushing on a string. He has rightly pointed out that the primary responsibility lies with the states, 16 of them, Delaware, Louisiana, Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, California, New York, Connecticut, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Michigan, Washington State, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and Virginia have locked down their economies following decrees by their governors. All but one, Iowa, are run by Democrats whose lust for power and control over people is likely to keep them in lockdown for far longer than necessary. Any suggestion by the president that they relent and rescind their mandate is likely to be met with scorn or indifference. On the other hand, the other states are far more likely to enjoy an early recovery from the shutdown as citizens will come out from hiding. sheltering in place, or, quote, house arrest, end quote, as some are calling it. Each state will decide on its own just how it will reopen itself for business. It's more likely that the reopening will take place in stages, with the businesses least likely to spread the pandemic opening first. Seniors and those compromised immune systems will be protected. So the recovery will take place slowly over time. Some are suggesting that after effects of the shutdown will still be felt from a year from now. But the New American and others suggest the country is likely to be stronger, safer, healthier, and better for the experience. Commuting will be enhanced and embraced as a more efficient and safer way of doing business. Business meetings that took place face to face will increasingly occur and happen online. Telemedicine, telehealth will expand, allowing patients to be treated from home by health professionals who have their health histories available at their fingertips. Supply chains will be rebuilt, emphasizing local and national sources and away from international ones subject to manipulation and blackmail. Manufacture of pharmaceuticals and nutritional supplements will increasingly be done inside the country, with some suggesting that Puerto Rico, once a thriving economy thanks to its importance in that industry before laws were changed, will be a primary beneficiary. Lower prices for oil will serve as a tax-free bonus to drivers, as will lower taxes levied on employees working from home, as they will be able to take various tax deductions not previously available, and they will serve as an additional incentive to replace or retrofit coal-fired plants with using lower cost and lower emission natural gas. So the air will even be cleaner. Contributions to retirement plans will be buying more shares of great American companies that are now selling at significant discounts. Home builders will continue enjoying the boom thanks to lower interest rates, and refinancing of existing debts at lower rates will serve as another tax-free bonus to citizens. In all, the benefits following the end of the pandemic shutdown are likely to be substantial and permanent. So I'd like to thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Now, like with most segments here at Black Spring with Autumn, I would like to offer this, which may seem like a rehash of my tag from previous videos. However, the president stating what many globalists and Democrats not wanting to hear, that he wants to reopen the economy. But even with the president's wishes and what he wants to see happen, on the other hand, you still have stimulus legislation on the floor, courtesy of Nancy Pelosi, with her, quote, think big, end quote, mentality on behalf of the American taxpayer dime and transgenerational debt. You also have, on a global scale, you have the United Nations, which are, they are asking for basically 10% of the world's GDP for their own global stimulus package. So it just brings me to the question, the economists have said we were on tap for a reset. Well, it looks like we're on tap for many resets. It's going to be on tap for, but many people are thinking of even of a fifth generation reset. We're having a reset in many ways that's going to bring about more stimulating measures in the economy. Also, but at the same time, with all the capitalist benefits and the elite's benefits from a reset, what have we learned or what have we gained from this experience? I mean, have we taken the bait? I mean, this country was built on liberties, and many of our liberties have been curtailed by state tyranny, state surveillance. Are we on tap for more state surveillance, state tyranny going forward? And my final take, how will the states handle a lift on social distancing coming from the president? Or how will the president handle Congress after this pandemic? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Have a great rest of your weekend.